Late 2024, I started thinking about changing up my work. This was in response to two things. First thing was that I was looking back at older work. I was looking back at student work. So I'm talking work from mid 1990s. I was looking at it not in a nostalgic way, but in a way that was like, this really is, as sad as it is to say it, this is the last time I had the space and time to be really, really creative. And it shows, like the work, you produce as a student, it may have it's going to have a level of naivety, but also there's a level of engagement and exploration is the most important part. There's a level of exploration that you just do not get when you work commercially. I'm sure any graphic designer or even illustrators watching this will know, if you've had a long career, I'm in my early 50s, career spans, 30-something years. Time just vanishes. You don't get time to work, to explore work. Yeah. Ideas don't run at the same pace as commerce. And you're very lucky if you find yourself in a situation where you do get genuine time to engage with a piece of work and explore different avenues for that work. Creatively, I'm kind of all over the shop. And I've built up various skills, but in lots of areas that kind of make, at least to my mind, feel disparate. Like, if you look at my Instagram page, or if I was to pull my work together from a single year, and it's personal work and graphic design, commercial projects, like there is no through line. There is nothing that you would say that, or at least to my mind, I can't see a through line. I don't see there's a unification there. And that's because I'm so interested in so many different approaches, digital painting, charcoal pastel drawing, large scale, 3D. And then, on top of that, there's what I've been doing for the last 3 years, graphic design, which has got typography and layout and, all various things. So I felt like I was just like a mess of things. And looking at the assemblage work was making me think, well, the point of assemblage is you take found objects and you put them together and you compose them together. And that just seems like a really good solution to my problem, is that I can have a drawing coexist with a digital painting. And actually there was another element to this equation, which was the rise of AI art. And digital art is now being flooded with even more work, and I'm not going to speak to the validity of that work. That's up to other people to decide. But it did make me realize that instead of running for the hills, the horses bolted the stable. So it's now time to find answers and rebuttal to AI, right? I say this to like any young designers, any young artists, but especially designers when they talk to me about what they should be looking at and focusing on in the future. I always say, don't worry about your technical skill set. Technical things get easier over time. That's the point of technology. You've got to focus on what makes you unique. And that's becoming even more center of frame with the rise of AI and how easy it is to generate visual imagery. AI, it's artificial intelligence, but it can't think. You're still the person doing the thinking. You're still the person doing the creativity. And that's putting aside the mass theft that some AI companies have been labeled with, quite rightly, for their egregious practices. I'm talking more as it's a component that will be built into a visual artist or designer's future workflow. And that's a given. So when it comes to future-proofing yourself, don't focus on the tools get easier, focus on you. You're the only person who can have your experiences. You're the only person who can think in the way that you think. You're the only person who can then articulate it in your way. So play into your uniqueness in a world of, homogenized slop. Play to your own strengths, play to your own uniqueness. And I was thinking about that myself. I was thinking about that in terms of my own work. It's like, what can I do if I want to stay a digital artist and stay within this field? And I do, because I find it so rewarding thinking about what can I do to make my work more unique to me. Not from a commercial aspect, but just from a purely, if I want to keep this going, and it is fantastic soul food for me. At this point, it's more soul food than paying the bills. What can I do to keep me engaged? So it's those components, looking back at the student work, assemblage being an answer to a question of how do I bring all the things, how do I unite all my different approaches and the things that interest me? And how do I build in a level of uniqueness to the work? What is the work about? So this piece of work is very personal, but I'm not going to go into any personal details. And that's not to, that's merely because I don't like it when artists over-explain a piece of work. It robs the viewer of the experience of what they get from looking at a piece of work. The work is about memory. And I'm looking at my own experiences in life, but it's about the memory of those experiences, not about solely the individuals involved in those experiences. Hopefully that makes sense. What I mean by that is, I'm a firm believer that the environment shapes us, right? Environment shapes who we are, especially at a young age. And then as we get older, I believe it's the moments that we have, the experiences we have, but it's the people that we surround ourselves with. At least for me, people have played a huge part in shaping who I am. And the work is more about that, the way in which our memory then informs our personality. And our memories inform our sense of self. They affect our value system, etc. And a lot of those memories are based around people. I am the sum of so many different wonderful people that I've had in my life.
They all think it's about more detail, but that's not how memory works. We recall with our feelings. Anything real should be a mess. I can show you.
As humans, we assign meaning to objects. We imbue this things in our lives. They are, they are potent in that they can, we can connect them to people or places or moments, and then in seeing those objects, it can recall all of that as well. That's a part of the language of assemblage that has always appealed to me in other works, in Cornell's work. Objects as a tool to bring about a narrative of a recalled moment. I don't know what it is about mark making, but I'm just so fascinated by it. Like, I can lose myself in just, it doesn't have to be my own drawing, just somebody else's work. A line, the quality of a line, the expressiveness, the gesture of a line, or a mark, the contact with the canvas, or whatever it is. There's just something about line quality that is just pure catnip to someone like myself. And it's something I wanted to play with in this work, and I'll put this up on screen now, is that I'll find a moment that I've fallen in love with or I think is really interesting, and I'll take that shape and I'll extrapolate that. So I'll take the away from the drawing, take it into something like Photoshop and clean it up as a pixel, then take that into a vector package. Vector then becomes the ability to take that mark into 3D, and then, my God, from 3D, once that mark is 3D geometry, then there's even more that I can do. You can see that this mark develops. It can become part of the assemblage. It can be manipulated, and even to the extent of where I'm playing with this source mark, this one mark from a drawing, putting it through a series of changes, where I can even end up with something like a large sculpture. And that evolution of the mark, there's something really, there's a quality there I really, really enjoy. How it can go from such humble beginnings, and then it takes on this, it takes on these different forms throughout the work, and then can go on and become a part of the work in a physical sense, in a space. It's just, it's something that I'm definitely going to be experimenting with more in the future. It's something that I enjoyed during the process of making this piece of work.